Do men or women feel safer in our society today? Is it true that men are more likely to be victims of violent crime? And how does the prevalence of rape culture impact women's safety? The idea that women are the ones who need to worry about their safety is a pretty pervasive one. And in many other countries, this number is higher still. For example, in Australia, 92.4% of female homicide victims were killed by women. But while women are certainly at risk from other women, they are also at great risk from men. Male violence against women is a huge problem. Then clearly there is work that needs to be done to improve their situation. Historically, male-on-male violence has played a significant role in establishing dominance, securing resources, and protecting territory. This is seen in many species in the animal kingdom, where males compete for dominance and resources through aggressive displays or direct confrontations. Even in human societies, historically, men have been socialized to be more aggressive and competitive, which can lead to increased risk-taking behaviors and willingness to engage in physical altercations. Found that 61% of respondents felt that sexual assault was an issue in their community. However, when asked if they personally felt at risk of experiencing sexual violence, that women are more paranoid than men is the statistic that the majority of violent crimes are committed by men. This can create a distorted perception of the prevalence of violence perpetrated by women. Furthermore, the media often sensationalizes cases of female-on-female violence. Simple things like walking alone at night or even wearing certain clothing can trigger anxiety and fear of sexual violence. This constant state of hypervigilance can be emotionally and psychologically draining for women. It's impacting their overall well-being and sense of security, which can amplify the public's perception of its frequency. Men too can fall victim to the negative consequences of rape culture. The pressure to conform to traditional masculine norms and the normalization of sexual aggression can lead to toxic masculinity, perpetuating a cycle of violence and reinforcing harmful gender stereotypes. The safety and well-being of both men and women are equally important and should be prioritized. Creating a safer society requires addressing the root causes of violence, challenging harmful gender norms, and fostering a culture of respect and consent. By working together, we can create a world where all individuals feel safe and empowered to live their lives without fear. While this is true and reflects the reality that men are more likely to be perpetrators of violence, it does not provide a complete picture of the issue. Rape culture refers to a societal environment in which sexual assault and harassment are prevalent and normalized. Do men or women feel safer in our society today? The data clearly indicates that women face a significantly greater risk of experiencing violence and sexual offenses than men. Despite this, the notion that women are overly paranoid about male violence persists due to a combination of factors, including the overrepresentation of men as perpetrators of violence. The media's tendency to sensationalize cases of female-on-female violence and the pervasiveness of rape culture. It can manifest in various ways, such as the objectification of individuals, the pressure to conform to gender stereotypes, and the normalization of sexually aggressive language and behavior. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. You can also check out our other videos, which are designed to help you be smarter, not harder. Rape culture can create an atmosphere in which women are more likely to experience sexual violence and harassment, and it can also contribute to the normalization of these behaviors, making it more difficult to hold perpetrators accountable. It fails to acknowledge the disproportionate number of women who experience victimization at the hands of men. Additionally, focusing solely on the perpetrator's gender ignores the broader societal factors that contribute to violence, such as gender inequality, exposure to violence in childhood, and the influence of media. Only 13% of men said they were not at all concerned compared to 38% of women. Additionally, a report published by the Bureau of Justice Statistics in 2020 found that women are significantly more likely to be the victim of sexual offenses, including rape and sexual assault, than men. In fact, around 1 in 5 women have been the victim of a sexual offense in their lifetime. These factors can make men more vulnerable to aggression and violence from other men. Despite this, the narrative that women are overly paranoid about male violence persists. This misconception can be attributed to a number of factors. So who feels safer, men or women? In many traditional societies, women have been expected to fulfill roles that prioritize nurturing and cooperation, with men facing a greater risk of physical violence and women facing a greater risk of social exclusion or exploitation. However, it is essential to recognize that these are generalizations and individual experiences can vary widely based on a multitude of factors, which can foster a sense of community and mutual support among them. Women's primary concern from an evolutionary perspective is typically other females, who might threaten their access to resources or social standing. Well, let's start with some evolutionary psychology. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 3 women worldwide has experienced physical or sexual violence, typically perpetrated by an intimate partner. This trope is commonly perpetuated by men who claim that female paranoia about violence against them is overblown. They argue that females are more likely to be harmed by other females than males. Let's take a brief look at what security actually means. Well, according to a survey conducted in 2016 by the New York City Council, on behalf of the mayor's office, around 55% of women in New York City had personally been the victim of a street harassment. While only 23% of men had experienced the same. Another study published in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence found that almost half of American women, aged 18 to 24, have been a victim of severe physical violence by an intimate partner. Around 10% of American men in the same age bracket have experienced the same. These findings are consistent with other studies that show women are significantly more likely to experience intimate partner violence than men. Feeling safe is a multifaceted concept that can encompass physical, emotional, and psychological well-being. Physical safety refers to being free from the threat of physical harm, such as assault or battery. Emotional safety involves feeling free from emotional abuse or trauma. And psychological safety means feeling secure in one's environment without fear of exploitation or manipulation. All 3 of these aspects are crucial for individuals to feel truly safe and secure in their daily lives. So there's no need for women to spend lots of time and energy worrying about male violence. And statistically, they are right. We're going to answer these questions and more in this episode of Fake That. It's me, and you're watching this channel. In the United States, around 85% of all homicides against women are committed by other women. To put this in context, approximately 750 million women have been subjected to violence by someone they know, which equates to about 30% of the global female population. This is why it's so important to understand whether men or women feel safer in our society today. If we can identify which gender is more likely to experience fear and insecurity, we can start to properly address the issue. But before we jump into the findings of our research, if one gender is experiencing greater levels of physical, emotional, or psychological insecurity, from an evolutionary standpoint, men are generally more likely to be threatened by other men. Women, on the other hand, have historically relied more on social support networks and alliances with other women to ensure their survival and well-being. These evolutionary pressures have resulted in different risk profiles for men and women. So what do the statistics tell us? A survey conducted by the National Sexual Assault Hotline in 2019. So the data clearly shows that women are at a much higher risk of experiencing various forms of violence and sexual offenses than men. One of the most common arguments used to support the notion. Another factor that perpetuates the myth is the tendency to focus on high-profile cases of female-on-female violence while ignoring similar cases involving men. But wait a minute, we haven't even talked about the role of rape culture yet. In fact, the effects of rape culture are so profound that the everyday experiences of women have been significantly impacted. But it's not just women who suffer. You want to learn more about the role of rape culture in our society? Check out this video here. So to wrap up, let's revisit our original question. It is crucial to acknowledge the very real fears and experiences of women when discussing issues related to violence and sexual assault. Thank you for watching this video.